fellow riders, welcome back to Airhead Barn. In the last episode we were successfully able to mount the engine and gearbox to the bike, and today we are going to follow with the swing arm and final drive. These are going to be a bit shorter episodes because just work is not that much involved as when we were restoring each component, but I still hope you will like it and actually enjoy watching this project as it comes to this end. So now we can actually proceed with the swing arm and the final drive installation. Here I have a new rubber boot that goes between swing arm and the gearbox, and I'm going to put it on with a new clamp. And this one is directional, so there is actually writing saying Getriebeseite and oben. Getriebeseite means gearbox side, and then oben means up. So that's how it should be oriented. Getriebeseite looks this way and oben is up. And that's how we are going to put it in. Looks good to me, and now it's ready to go back on a bike. So you just hand tight these pivot bolts until you have same distance of a swing arm from the frame on the left and the right, and then we are going to torque lock nut on one side, and we will adjust preload on the another side. Now we are going to put a lock nut. 27mm socket. Okay, and now this needs to be torqued to 100 Nm, which is 74 foot-pound. That's it, and you can put the cover. This one is done. And now we are going to set preload on the another side. And the way how you do that is you set it to 20 Newton meters. Okay, 20 Newton meters first. Then you back it up. Okay, so taper bearings are now seated, and now we will set it to 12 Newton meters. That's it. And now we can put another lock nut. We previously greased bearings, so there is no need to do that, but eventually you would need to put some more grease, and there are holes through the pivot bolts that enable you to do it. Okay. And dust cover goes back. It's nice. Next step is to put final drive. I already greased splines of final drive, so everything is ready to be placed, and there is a gasket between swing arm and the final drive, and we can just place it. Okay. And I have a new set of washers and nuts. So these are serrated nuts, and 12 millimeter wrench works really nice here. pretty tight. So now we can proceed with actually screwing these screws that hold the shaft attached to the output flange. In order to do that, it's a good idea to have a rear wheel back on. So I can use a rear brake actually to tighten these screws. Currently I already have one screw in, and the reason for that is just because that one is holding the my shaft in place, and I'm definitely going to remove it and put the new screws. It's always a good idea here to use new screws, and cool thing about these new is that they come with the thread locker already in place, so you don't need to put any kind of split washers or a thread locker. Okay, so let's proceed with this. Okay, so transmission is in neutral, so we can rotate the shaft, and now slowly, just don't lose bolts. So this work does require some fiddling, especially with the boot in place, but it's definitely doable. So 10 millimeter boxed end is what you are going to need here. 12 point box end works really nice. And then one by one we are going to slowly drive it. We will do the last one. Okay. First we need to remove the old screw that was holding everything in place. Now we are going to use rear brake and tighten. Okay, that's one. That's the other. Okay, let's do the third one. Okay. Okay. And finally, fourth one. There is actually an adapter that you can use here and then torque everything, but I found it actually good enough to use like 12-point closed or boxed end wrench and a rear brake. And finally, the only thing that we need to do is drive the boot over the transmission flange. And for that I'm going to remove first this venting bolt or screw, so I have more space to do that. There it is. Now we can put new clamp. Okay, boot is in place and we can return this venting screw. Okay. That's it.